Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We're live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State, also live on YouTube and on Facebook. And we are going to dive into the world of tech with our friend from VNET, Brian Marshall, VNET's virtual CIO, joining us and hosting the event coming up this Thursday at the Bayfront Convention Center. Brian, welcome back to the show. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it. All right. So, not much has happened in the last 12 months since we talked to you, right?
No, it's been just status quo, right? Nothing's happened. Everything, the world's the same. AI hasn't taken over. We're all just kind of hanging out. It's pretty easy.
I honestly don't think I'm sure we mentioned AI when we were promoting the 6th annual summit last year, but we were so much more focused on playing defense, right? We wanted to make sure that even the smallest companies, the mom pop plumber or bakery shop on the corner had their firewall, and that they didn't click on bad emails. I mean, that's what was our focus a year ago.
It was, yeah. So this tech summit has had an AI slant because AI is not new, but it wasn't so top of mind. So this year, it's really taken a big pivot. It's had to. The world has made giant strides, and Erie is poised to leverage AI in a way that will be meaningful and helpful, and we can't be left behind. As I tell people, it's not a choice of whether you can either adopt AI and figure out how you're going to leverage it within the constraints of whatever business or whatever market you're in, or your competitor will and they'll leave you behind. Because if you implement AI correctly, securely, governed properly, your business can continue to flourish. If you don't, your competitor will, and you will never be able to compete.
All right, I want to unpack that a second here,
Sure.
But from your point of view, is there anything parallel to this in the last 30 years of tech, of this rising of AI? It feels a bit like the World Wide Web, in 1995.
It's a great parallel to choose. What's interesting about this is it's the speed of which it's happening, we've never seen in anything. So Moore's Law, like the none of that applies. AI capabilities are doubling every 2 weeks instead of every 6 months or a year or whatever it was. But and speaking to our founder and owner Joel Duderman, we were sitting waxing poetically about all of this, and we both believe that this will be big. AI will be bigger than the internet, which seems ridiculous to think because the internet is so ingrained and so intrinsic in what we do. This is just like taking that and leveling it up considerably. So the adoption of this will be faster. The ramifications of not getting on board will be greater. But if you think about it, there was a time when nobody had email. Right? So,
sure.
And people are like,
I didn't even understand what the @ sign was all about.
Why do we need email? I'll just send a letter. That'll be fine. Now, if you said, hey, could you send that to me? And they said, well, what's your address? Because I'd like to put a stamp on a letter, send it out. It's going to go to Pittsburgh. They're going to process it, and then it's going to come back to you. You'll get it in 5 to 7 days compared to I can hit send and have it in Australia in half a second.
Yeah.
We'd think that was ridiculous. The AI is going to have a similar impact where I need to be able to analyze or do something with this data set and, I'll get back to you in 3 to 5 days, or I can do it in 10 to 15 seconds. The companies that wait 3 to 5 days to get their answer, they're going to be passed by.
Again, I'm talking to an expert, so I want to take advantage of my time. Have we already, though, jumped a little bit of the shark of AI? Here's where I'm coming from. I feel like everybody is paying $20 a month to ChatGPT to make the posters for their concert or their event, or they're making their menus. They all look the same. I feel like there's one overworked graphic designer back there, for our 4th of July picnic.
Sure.
And it's all the same thing, you know?
So let's put a line between those two things. I think when it comes to art and it comes to music, there certainly are things that AI can do because AI really is not intelligent. All it's doing is predicting patterns. And so if there's something that's the same, it can make the same thing over and over and over again.
It seems to like one font face.
Which is why every bingo that you get
Yes.
from every marching band looks exactly the same, because that's what it's going to be. And it does the job because we can all go to that bingo and know, but it's not going to hang in the Louvre. Right? Like nobody's going to be mistaking that for that.
Yes.
That's not what AI is going to replace. What AI is going to replace, or what AI is going to augment, I hate to use the word replace, what it's going to do is help speed up. It's going to get rid of the mundane task that people don't like to do. So you'll be able to automate out of your job or out of your employee's job the repetitive tasks that take no brain power. They're just repeating over and over again. If I can remove that and let my awesome people do awesome things, it's amazing how much happier they will be and how much more successful my business can be. So we get caught up in the AI generated things because they're neat. Like, oh, I've got this picture, and then my dad puts everybody in a swimsuit, or whatever those things are that happen, right? Those are parlor tricks and novelty things that one can do that you used to have to be really good at Photoshop to do. Yeah, sure, that stuff could be replaced and done with this. That isn't where a business is going to make a turn in AI. They're going to make a turn because they are now making better decisions because they've been able to analyze the data that's coming in real time or near real time, instead of analyzing it at the end of the month after the accountant got through all the reports. That's the moment when things are going to change.
And you're saying that the businesses that ignore this, they do so at their peril.
For sure. I can't imagine a world where your competitor is using these tools and is doing things that they're knowing what the market trend is 1 minute after it happened, and you're finding out 30 to 45 days later. And how, when we add those minutes together and you add your 45 days together, are you just not out of business at the end? And when you go out to hire in the market, and I want to bring people in, if my entry-level jobs are full of grunt work that require no brain power, that I, with a push of a button and a co-work agent, could automate away, those people aren't going to want to work for you. You're going to lose your human capital, because that same person that spent their time in school, although they've got to earn their stripes by doing the lower level things, they can't be doing things that don't require any brain power, because they're going to challenge you as a business owner. They're going to say, well, you know what? Your competitor told me I don't have to do that crappy work. I can do good things that use my brain. I want to do that kind of work. I want to get out of work a half hour earlier every day because all of the work is done and we're successful, instead of me slogging away grinding through spreadsheets.
You're bringing up so many interesting points here. Just 12 months ago, if someone knew how to write a efficient prompt, they were getting paid $200,000 a year. Has that job gone away because the AI is making their own prompts?
That is correct. Yeah, that job. Everyone needs to know how to make a good prompt. You can't talk to it like it's Google. At the same time, you can ask your ChatGPT, make me a prompt that will give me the thing that I want, and it's going to come back and give you that thing. So, I'm a big advocate of Microsoft Copilot. Why? Because it plugs into your Office 365 that you already have. So if you want to peek under the hood of Brian Marshall uses Copilot at work. He uses Claude at work when it has to do coding kind of things, and he uses ChatGPT in his personal life. He does not let those two things cross into each other.
Interesting.
And at our summit that's coming up this week, we will be talking specifically of why you wouldn't let those two things cross over, because I want my work persona and my personal persona to be two totally different things. And I don't trust that my GPTs, my AIs are going to respect my boundaries.
This is so creepy. I'm sorry, Brian. But I mean, again, observations that I have, I'd like you to respond. I know, and I'm pretty much using Claude exclusively, except for like the Google Gemini every once in a while for just queries and stuff. But I notice that sometimes it's lazy. Like I have to ask again.
Sure.
It's like no, I know the answer, and you didn't dig deep enough. Oh yeah, you're right. It admits that it's kind of was sleeping on the job, and then it goes and gets me the answer that I want. What's that all about?
So I always tell people to treat AI like an intern. Right? Would you ever ship an intern's work? Of course you wouldn't.
No.
But it used to be like a entry-level intern. It's now like a PhD level intern. You are hiring a PhD level intern to look things up. So I know your co-host here writes a lot of music, okay?
Yeah.
And where am I going to come up with my ideas and sounding boards and things like that? An awesome use of AI is not to write my music or not to write the thing. I will use it. I'll say, I'm trying to think about X, Y, or Z. Give me some talking points or some ideas of things that would go along with that. And I will literally have a conversation with it going back and forth. It's like, no, I don't like any of that. Let's dig deeper into something that looks more like this thing. Give me all the words that rhyme with this, that go with that. Could you go to a dictionary and find all those? Sure you could. It takes a very long time because I don't have the front necessarily. I'm looking off the back. That could take an awful long time. Having these, and now we used to go to thesauruses. When's the last time you cracked open a thesaurus? Probably been a while because you can Google things and whatever. Now I can go right into this. It's got all of that at my fingertips and I can be prompting it for that information. I would never ask it to write my chord progression, but I absolutely would be having a conversation about, I'm stuck on this word. I've used it too many times. Give me another thing that you might use in there. And then you're going back and forth to come up with what that might be. Those are the kinds of things where it can make you a little smarter, a little faster, way more nimble, and have access to so much more data than you ever had before.
Kind of a wingman, like you say, a PhD intern.
Yes, but we don't ship interns work. We don't hit send when that's done. We still go back into it. We check it. We make sure it's correct because it will also lie to you. It will make things up. Now, those guardrails have gotten better.
Yeah.
And if you prompt correctly and you ask it to cite the sources and make sure it's pulling from legitimate places, it's less likely to make something up. Okay. But if you allow it to check the entire internet, I don't know if you know this or not, but the internet, everything on the internet's not true. So if it's consuming all the things on the internet and bringing those back and bringing them back to you as truth, that's probably a really bad plan.
So let me bring it back to the Tech Summit. So these are some of the topics that some of the breakouts are going to be covering over?
Absolutely. So we'll be covering everything from AI, its adoption, what you need to do to put guardrails on it. How do you come up with an acceptable use policy? All the things you need in your business to be able to be successful with AI. We also will have plenty of vendors there talking about the tools that they have that help keep you safe because as one of my speakers is going to be talking about what AI can do for you, it can do to you. How do you make sure you've got guardrails in place to stop that bad thing from happening? Would you give the intern the administrative password to all the things?
No.
Probably not, right? Would you give them, if you had an intern working at Coke, would you give them the keys to the secret formula? Probably wouldn't do that, right?
Well, and when we were at the nonprofit conference, we were saying you would never give your intern your donor database complete with whatever details are in that.
Right. So what we're finding is a lot of companies are using the easy button of their GPTs, of their Claude or whatever, kind of going outside of the Copilot world, which maybe already has been guardrailed for you. Now they're taking and saying, oh, here's my letter that I'm going to send all of my donors. You know what, to make it easy, and here's my entire donor list. Do a mail merge for me because I don't really want to go into Word and do that myself. And now they've given that all away. And if you don't have the right guardrails in place to stop that kind of thing from happening, you've given it away. If I'm a business that has a particular method by which I do whatever the thing is I do, and I take that intellectual property and I upload it into my thing and say, analyze this for me. Am I doing a good job? Great use of the tool. Only a tool that's been guardrailed saying you're not allowed to train on that information. Because what I don't want is it to say, well, that actually was a great idea. Let me use that for the company down the street that does the exact same thing you do. So when they ask about theirs, I'll say, no, actually, the guy down the street does it this way and it's way better. You should do it that way.
Brian Marshall here with a cautionary tale that you can learn a lot and maybe take the stress level and the scare level down at the VNET Tech Summit coming up on Thursday. Stay with us, Talk Erie. VNET Tech Summit is coming up here on Thursday. You said, Brian, you're starting at like 7 a.m. with the doors open?
Doors open 7:30.
Oh, my gosh.
Breakfast is served till 8:30, and we hit the ground running, and it will be action-packed right through 5 o'clock.
All right, let's sneak a phone call in here. Hi, you're live with Brian Marshall from VNET here on Talk Erie.
Hey, Brian, I was listening to you guys talking about the AI and businesses hitting the easy button, right?
Yep.
And, I mean, I see that as a huge problem. I think it might concur with that. For at least the last 6 decades or more, anything in sales-related, anything, that you want to convince someone to do, you got to put the 2 words in there, fast and easy, or anything that equates to fast and easy. And, well, the hallmark of learning is repetition. So is it any wonder that the businesses are going to hit the easy button hard? And leaving it all up to AI, I mean, that's very dangerous.
Yeah, so I think the point here is you should never leave it all up to AI.
Yeah, but it's easier, right?
Well, where the easy button comes in is we think about, like, it got me there quickly. Right. Easy and quick are not necessarily the same things. We've got to make sure that it's secure and right. So understanding that will be the thing that will make those businesses successful.
I'm going to keep it going here. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Take care. Bye. You keep on talking about guardrails, and again, I don't want you to give away the store, but are all of these major tools, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Microsoft Copilot, Gemini, Google? I mean, Gemini's got a big footprint in defense, right?
Absolutely.
The government, right? Do they all have that capability of putting guardrails around?
They all have the capability, right? So in capable hands, all of this can be done the right way. If you came to last year's summit, we had Jen Easterly there, and her big tagline is secure by design, right? And then she actually coined a phrase on our stage where she's like, it really should be secure by demand. You people that are in the audience here, you business owners, should be demanding that it's secure first. When you buy your Microsoft tenant, when you sign up for 365, it is the least secure it will ever be on day one. Well, and for a lot of people, it will stay that insecure forever.
Right.
Because Microsoft does not want to go out of their way to make it difficult, because that creates a lot of support calls. When you partner with somebody like VNET or one of the other companies around, we go in and we harden that to make sure that it's being done the right way. Your ChatGPT, your Claude, your Copilot, whatever those things are, when you purchase them, there is insecure, not like, oh, don't leave, let me, but they're not as secure as they can be because they're trying to make them easy to use. You need to be with someone, you need to be with a group of people, you need to have someone that understands those things and can put the right guardrails around them. And then you get into, that's just using your ChatGPT. People start building their own agents. Now I'm going to build my own agent. It's easy to build your own agent with Claude. I do Claude code. I can say, hey, Claude, write me an agent to do this thing. It now builds me this awesome agent that does all this stuff. What red teamed that? Big fancy IT word.
Yeah.
What went in to check that to make sure it wasn't doing things it's not supposed to be doing? If you don't have the people to do that, you shouldn't be building the agents. You should partner with someone that can.
All right. So I got to think, though, that there are several hundred small businesses in Erie County that are still of the mindset, if I have a good, firewall, and if I have a decent system of stopping spam emails, ransomware or whatever, right? You never this came from external source.
Sure.
That this is all I need to do to keep my tool and die shop running or what have you.
If the world had not changed and doesn't continue to change, then you would be correct. But that's not the case. The world is constantly evolving. Your cybersecurity posture needs to evolve with it. And so what you need to have in place are the right tools that constantly move and change. The tools that I was talking about at last year's summit, the tool set has not changed much in name, but in its capabilities has increased dramatically. The amount of AI, you use AI to fight AI, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to use the AI so if we get 20,000 logs from one server every 5 minutes, anybody here read 20,000 things every 5 minutes?
No.
Not this guy, right? You know what can? The machine. So if the machine's generating that, I have another machine in place that's reading that, determining the things, bringing it up, having 12 more AI agents that analyze that before it brings it to a human to say, yeah, we should act on that. We call it human in the loop. You always keep a human that's pushing the last button before bad things happen. This is how we don't let the AI overlords, take us over. We're going to have that human in the loop button.
Yeah.
But it would be silly for me to say, well, let me hire 30,000 analysts to read through all those logs when I could have one thing do it and then just have 10 humans at the backside of that approving what the AI had to say.
What's not to stop like this enormous denial of service attacks forever? I mean, if robots are on the other side, on the bad side of the internet, I mean, how are we even functioning right now?
So we've all become reliant on the same internet to do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
If they take down the internet, they won't be able to do their stuff either. That's the only way you should be able to sleep at night. They don't have a special internet that's just for them. So as long as if they disrupt the entire apple cart, it would be brutal for all of us.
Sure.
But they'd also lose their revenue stream. So they want to keep it working just well enough that you can keep paying them.
It's deterrence for mutual destruction. I mean, we're living in détente, believe it or not. All right, we're going to have more with Brian Marshall from VNET. Their tech summit is kicking off 7:30 with the doors on Thursday morning at the Bayfront Convention Center. We're going to talk about the speakers after the news. It's Tuck Erie and the Joel Natale Show, live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio. Brian Marshall is our guest. He's from VNET. He's a virtual CIO, and again, how many? You have a few different folks that you work with as a fractional chief information officer. Right?
I do, yeah.
In technology.
Yeah, so as a virtual CIO, I help a lot of businesses in town, and I'm not the only one. We've got 3 other vCIOs at VNET, and so we help many customers in Erie who can't really, it doesn't make sense for them to have a full-time chief information officer on their staff. It wouldn't make any sense. They're not of a scale and size. They can get somebody with my, breadth of experience to come in and try to help lead them on their journey.
There's no doubt about it. And of course you consult, for those that need, to have some folks, some boots on the ground there. Let's talk about who you're featuring. Again, this is a 1-day seminar.
Yeah, it's crazy that this summit is 1 day. Peek behind the curtain, somebody came to me and said, we should make it 2 days. And I said, absolutely not. We can do it in 1 day. And then we got all these speakers lined up and I went, okay, I was wrong. But we're going to get it all in 1 day anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're leading this off. So we've got, I'll give you the highlights real quick.
Yeah, sure, please.
We've got Natalie Suarez coming in. So she is a nationally known speaker, has been all over. She's actually coming back to Erie. We've had her one other time. She's a great female presence in IT, has worked boots on the ground, very technical. She's actually coming to us by way of Huntress, because we also have Kyle, the CEO and founder of Huntress, coming. So he will actually be on stage doing a live hack demo. He will show you.
What do they specialize in? What is Huntress?
So Huntress is a cybersecurity platform, and they tout themselves as being cybersecurity for the other 99%. So VNET is a proud user of Huntress. All of our Titan customers get Huntress as part of our platform. We brought it to many schools in town, universities in town. It's a platform that has many different layers to it that offer you way beyond antivirus types things. We could do a whole day on all the things it does.
I just have to ask again. I know, like I think I've told you before. I know just enough to be dangerous, and in this world, you don't want to be dangerous. But is there still like a device? Is there still such a thing as a hardware firewall that these folks operate in?
So at your business, you'll have a hardware firewall at the edge of that network.
Okay.
But so many people work remotely now. So they're all working from home.
And you have to open up a port for them.
So let's talk about how many people sent a firewall home to all of their employees that are working from home. I bet you could raise 0 fingers on that one. So because that's the case, you need softwares like this that basically harden it right at the machine level. So we are checking everything that's coming in and out of that computer right at the computer level itself. We're also checking identities at their 365. There's so many things, so many awesome things that does. We also have Tim Nicastro coming.
Yes.
That's a name in Erie that you might know, right? Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
He's going to come and do a fireside chat with me. We're going to sit down and talk about sort of last summer's incident, right? There was a cybersecurity incident that happened at Erie Insurance. That's not a secret. What we're going to talk about is what went well. What did recovery look like? What can other CEOs learn from what they learned from? It doesn't matter how big or small you are. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when something is going to happen. How well prepared you are for that will determine the outcome. Those who are prepared well, all the Erie Insurance, will continue on and not miss a beat. Those who are not, will not.
All right, so let's put the cookies on the bottom shelf here in that regard. Are backups important in that regard?
Oh, absolutely. So backups matter, right? Your security matters, but it's great to have everything backed up if bad things happen. If they delete things, you want to be able to get them back. Make sure you've got great backups. Backups don't do you a whole lot of good if they exfiltrate all your data. right? So you have it, but so do they. And if you don't want them to expose it, now you could have big problems. So that's where the whole ransom comes in. It used to be they would encrypt your machines right off the bat. Now they want to exfiltrate all the data first and hold it for ransom. Otherwise, saying, if you don't, we'll publish this, or we'll publish that, or we'll do your list. Or let's say you're that machine shop you were talking about, and you've got a bunch of drawings from customers that have given you that information, and they got to hold all your customer drawings. How long do you stay in business when you have to call your customer and tell them that all their intellectual property has been exfiltrated? You need the right tools in place. This is where a Huntress or some of these others come in. So Kyle's going to show us how easy it is to be hacked, how softwares like his can protect against those things, and why you have to be vigilant and diligent in the things you're doing. We'll talk to Tim. That's going to be great. Then we've got the Attorney General, Dave Sunday, coming from Pennsylvania. He'll be in talking about cybersecurity laws and AI laws. We're going to do another fireside chat with him. I'm going to specifically ask him about what's the line between victim and when do I stop being a victim and start being part of the problem when I didn't do all the right things? Everybody should and probably does have cyber liability insurance.
Right.
When we fill out the form, were we truthful and honest? I don't think anybody that's listening to you is lying on the form on purpose, but did we just check all the boxes saying we were doing things that we're not actually doing? Because if we don't do the things we say, the insurance company's not going to pay.
Well, I want you to stop there or pause there a second, Brian, because, like, for example, if you take any kind of credit card, there's a whole system that you have to follow to make sure that PC is protected. What is it? PCI.
Yeah. So
right?
if you don't follow your PC, if you're not PCI compliant, then the bank is going to tell you can't do this. But how does the bank know? The bank gives you a form. You have to fill it out and say you're doing these things. If you're taking credit cards and you check the box and said, I do have MFA on all of this, and I do have this, and I do have
multi-factor
that,
authentication.
Yeah, if I have all of the things, I promise that I have all these things, because you as the business owner think that you do, but you don't. And the forensic team comes in and finds out that all those credit card numbers were compromised and you didn't have those things. First of all, your insurance is not going to cover you. And secondly, you're going to be looking down the barrel of a big
Do you
fine.
guys do audits and find like this kind of trouble all over the place?
Often.
Often.
And not only that, again, come to the summit, you'll hear lots of cool stories, but I will tell you one of the other sessions that we have going is with an insurance agent. So we've got Pete Zafras will actually be there.
Oh, wow.
And he'll be talking along with Erie Bank. We'll be doing another little fireside chat with them in one of the breakout rooms, talking about how important insurance is. But he told me a story about how, a customer that had VNET, where they scored on the scale for being protected, and a customer that didn't, and how much different those two scores were. And that's a feather in our cap, but it also goes to show if you're not using the right people, your insurance premium will be much different. A company loves to see that you've got VNET in your corner because we force you to have all of the protections that are required. We're checking for those things. We do IT. You build molds for injection molding. You do your thing, we'll do our thing, we'll all do great together. If you decide to also be the IT person and think you understand what that form means, that'd be just like me trying to figure out that injection molding diagram. It'd be a terrible plan.
Yeah, and people need to get their arms around this. Okay, so one of the questions I would have for the Attorney General is, are we able to prosecute these ne'er-do-wells that attack our computers?
It's on the list. I'll ask them. It's on the list. What do those struggles look like, and how does he go about it?
How do you do it?
Yeah.
I mean, is the FBI? I know. I mean, the FBI isn't as big as it used to be. Are they still putting lots of resources towards cybercrime?
We're going to find out for sure.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Who else?
And then we've got Matt Lee. We'll be batting cleanup there. So Matt, as a fan favorite, is coming back, and he's actually doing the talk on what AI can do for you, it can do to you. And he will be walking you through all the cool new innovations in AI and why you have to have those very specific guardrails in place. So, I mean, that day is already action-packed. That doesn't include the 9 breakout sessions. You get to choose 3 of the 9 because, we can't do everything in this short amount of time. All the vendors, I've got 18 different vendors that will be on site, so you can actually go visit their booth. So if you're talking about like spam filtering, I'm going to talk to the Proofpoint guy. You can actually talk to the vice president of Proofpoint because he'll be here and he'll be there to share stories and whatever. The CEO of Fin, which is a cybersecurity awareness training program, he will be here. Like, these aren't just regular people. Like, this is a Las Vegas quality event happening in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
You can't go to any of the cities that are within 100 miles of us and get a conference that's got a better lineup than this.
Talk about who should go. Is this a CEO, a CIO? Do I send the intern? Who goes?
So, yeah, I mean, if you're a business owner, you should be there. If you've got people that are, if you're security minded or you're IT minded, you should be there. Like those are the kinds of people you should be sending. We also have a special for students as well. So I've got students signed up. There's actually an AMA, it's an Ask Me Anything that's only for students. As a matter of fact, if you're not still in school, I'm going to kick you out of the room because I want to give students the opportunity to talk to the professionals that I brought in from around the country. What's it like to be in this field? What's it like to do those things? So it's a great thing for students to be able to learn about all these kind of products and the kinds of things they're going to be facing. So I specifically put together a track just for them so that they'll also be, taken care of. But for those business owners that would be listening to this program, it's like, if you can't go, you should be sending your business leader, somebody in there so they can come back with this information. Because you'll get lots of great cybersecurity tips and tricks. And you'll also see my big announcement about VNet's new AI offering. We'll be announcing it live for the very first time, sometime in the 2:00 hour on that stage, where we'll be walking you through some really cool things that are going to be for Erie that we're going to be building right here.
Can you talk a little bit about the network for a second there? I switched a year ago, April, to, I have a 2 gigabit at home. I mean, it's wicked fast. Okay. So where is that? Where's the build out go? How's that going?
So not my side of the business,
right.
But I will do my best to talk about it. I will say last year I told you I didn't have it, and this year I can proudly say that as a proud Harbor Creek resident, it has come to my door, and I've had it for at least a couple of weeks. So as we announced sort of at the end of last calendar year, our build out in Harbor Creek is going strong. Okay. We also have a build out in Lawrence Park going. There's some spots in South Erie that are happening as well. We've been in Mill Creek for a while, so that's happening. Your best bet is to go to vnetfiber.com and go to that address, or go to the see if you're available. If you've signed up in the past and it's now available, go up, sign up, and pick your package. Once you pick your package, you get on the list for somebody to come see you. We are doing a bunch of installs every day. It is, I will tell you, I mean, I'm a little biased, but boy, it's really nice to have it at home. It warmed my heart when it finally came to my neighborhood.
It's so funny because you think of anybody who's had internet access at home for a while, they remember the buffering days of Netflix, spinning and stuff. And now I don't even think about it.
Nope. It's so nice to just have all the bandwidth you need. It's dedicated and just works very, very well.
Yeah.
Fiber's a big difference.
Yeah. And again, something that our businesses need to be thinking about, if that's available to you, in the footprint. All right. So, how about future proof? Is there a way to future proof? Or that doesn't exist in this realm, does it?
So future-proof, yeah. I mean, I'll say it this way. The way you future-proof is by staying on the front foot and continuing to be educated and continuing to being part of it. The technology you buy today is going to be obsolete yesterday. Like, that's just the way that is. That's the speed at which things go. So I think we often think about being future-proof as like, well, I'm going to just set it and forget it. That is not a thing. What we need to be is constantly learning and growing and partnering with the right people that can stay educated. If you're a business owner that is focused on their business, that's what you should focus on. You should let your IT be focused on somebody that's what they're doing and being trained on and being sent to. I am both speaking at and attending 3 more conferences in the next 8 weeks.
Wow.
Because it's that important to VNet that we're constantly being educated so I can bring that back. I'm not doing it because I'm not doing it because I like going to these things. Right. I'm doing this so that I can bring that knowledge back to Erie so that we can constantly be growing and learning together. Our commitment to that continuing education is what makes us, I guess future-proof isn't the right word, it's future-forward.
Yeah.
Making sure that we're always on the front foot of that. We are a community of go-givers. We want to make sure that we're giving back to this community, and we give back by keeping ourselves up to date so that Erie can have the very best. There are plenty of cities that don't have the fiber Joel brought here. There are plenty of them that don't have that. There are plenty of them that don't have a managed services provider like us who is just ranked number 269 in the world, right?
Wow.
That's not in the region. You can't go in the region and find somebody that's in the top 300. It doesn't exist. We continue to strive to be that thing because we live here, we work here, and we want to make sure that Erie is successful.
All right, can I go on one more rabbit trail with you? So there are people in industries where they're locked on Windows 7 that runs that piece of equipment. I mean, you've encountered
I
this,
do it all
right?
the time. Yep.
What do you do about not, having the security all blow up? I mean, I guess you could keep that computer off the internet altogether.
You've just answered your own question. It's called, you've got to put that computer in quarantine, right? So we've got to segment that in the network.
It's like running that machine.
Yep. So this is going to, so the great example is I run a cabinet shop, and I've got a $700,000 molding machine. And Microsoft decided they're not going to update the Windows for this anymore. And the company told me they don't have another machine for that. I just have to buy another $700,000 molding machine. Well, that's a lot of cabinets that's a lot of trim. So guess what, IT guy? I don't care what you say. I'm still running on this Windows 7 machine. And I celebrate them for that, because that would be $700,000 not well spent. But what we can do is we can build a VLAN around that thing. We can put it in its own little compartment, make sure it can't get to anything. They can still get their cyber liability insurance. They can still check all the boxes. They can be CMMC. They can do all of those things, even with this Windows 7 machine, as long as the guardrails are in place. You can't say, oh, well, we just use it on the internet some of the time. Nope, some of the time is none of the time. There's a very simple way to make that happen, and VNet can help you do that. Your IT guy should know how to do that. You don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. You don't have to just, well, Microsoft said so we're going to do it. Wow. There are ways around it, but you can't do it yourself, and you can't just hope.
That's a perfect answer, because it just dumbfounds me how, there's just got to be. I'm being generous with the Windows 7. I'm sure there's still some folks on Windows 2000.
You are right. You can definitely go back in time, and there are plenty of those.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm going to let you go. Again, give a plug. Why, that CEO is going to, I'm not going to do any of my widget work today because I'm going to go work on my business.
It's going to be worth their time. Head to vnetsummit.com. You can get tickets there. When you come in, you will be from morning until evening with something that is prudent to your business every step of the way. This is a summit with zero fluff. The agenda is posted online. If you can find fluff, let me know which one that is, because I usually like some fluff, so I get some downtime. I was unable to find any room for fluff this time. It is 100% end-to-end content.
Beautiful. Brian Marshall, VNET, vCIO, and again, the VNET Tech Summit, the 7th, happening this Thursday at the Bayfront Convention Center. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You appreciate it. Here is 4:52.